The Land Rover Defender is back. Now the whole world knows about it. So what am I going to tell you new? Well, there is this thing in my head which really wondered if it's as capable as it used to be. Now, the looks are quite a different thing. I mean, there could be people thinking yes or no about it, but the capability is at the heart of the Defender. So let's find out what it is all about. And if the Land Rover Defender is around, why am I walking this up? I should be driving this, right? That's what we're going to do now. This is the Land Rover Defender 110, the 4-door 7-seater. There is a Land Rover Defender 90, which is a 2-door 5-seater, which is on its way. It'll take a couple of months before it gets here. Well, the 90 and 110 are numbers that connote the wheelbase in inches. There's something interesting about it. The 90 used to be 92.9 inches and the 110 used to be 110 inches. But now the 90 has grown to be 101.9 inches and the 110 is now 119 inches in wheelbase. In overall length as well, the 90 has grown 70 centimeters while the 110 has grown 39, which means a good deal of space more to sit comfortably inside. One thing that simply cannot change is its capability, because what's Land Rover Defender without its capability? Now, how things have changed, is it for the better? Let's find out. Well, there are some numbers involved, bear with me, like approach angle and departure angle. As you know, the approach and departure angle simply means the angle at which an obstacle is approached and the angle at which you come out of it. It greatly depends on the short front and back overhangs. The vertical stance of the Defender helps. So the departure angle at 40 degrees is much better than the original 36. But the approach angle is way less, because earlier it used to be 49 and now it is around 38. But there are elements to make up. For example, the ground clearance, it used to be 214 millimeters. Right now it is 218 and it can go up to 29.1 centimeters thanks to the air suspensions, which can be seen in the wading depth. It used to be 500 millimeters and now it is 900 millimeters. It can wade through water. Another big one is the angle at which stunts could be performed. I mean the angle at which it could travel before tilting over. It used to be 35 and now it is 45 degrees. This rack is not for decoration. It can actually hold a couple of guys like me further on this. Sturdy stuff. And look at that. This plastic thing is where I stepped on when I climbed up. They've thought of everything. The riding stance of the Defender is so high up, it's almost like riding on the cloud. It used to be, and it still is. Only that, you can come down when you want to enjoy the view here. I'm talking about the ride height. Well, this car can actually go up by 8 centimeters, and when it's time to get down, choose access height to bring it down by another 5 centimeters. Clever. Road or off-road? Road first. Capability is now backed by scientific proof. I mean, you can actually see what's happening on the touchscreen, the wading depth alert, the camera angles. You know, because this car is so high, you can't actually see what's happening in front of the bonnet. And on the screen, the camera shows you what. The vehicle has so many touch points. You just press it, the multiple angles of the camera will show you what's happening where. This is amazing. You can actually see the Defender here. You know, 5.01 meters is the total length, including the tires. So this is a normal height. Now it's set in normal height, and if I press the off-road, that will You can see the departure angles at the moment, the ground clearance, the total height of the car, and that of course changes with the air suspension activation. So all that, the current status of your car before you jump into an adventure can be evaluated here. So here is where you watch the wading depth, so the weight sensing. The maximum of 800 centimeters is marked here, and actually it's 900, but on the visual it's showing 800 millimeters. Probably it's taking into account the ride height as well, yes. And the minimum sensor trigger depth is 0.1 meters, which simply means that if you are in 10 centimeters of water, you are wading. So you can actually see all the capabilities of the Defender right here. You have the wheel info, you have the slope assist, the weight sensing, the compass. You can even look at the energy impact or your driving style score. Something else that's happened to the capability is that it's become easier. Basically, it can go anywhere at the touch of a button. I've chosen grass, gravel and snow, and the vehicle knows that it is a low traction area. Now the low traction launch is another great feature. On surfaces where the traction is low, you just leave it to the car to decide what kind of tractions to apply. There are some conditions you need to follow, that's all. So you have eco, comfort, grass, gravel, snow, mud ruts, sand, rock crawl, infinite options, and the car does it for you. That's the best part. Or is it really? I'm sure there are going to be the off-roading wizards who really hate the idea of the decisions being made for them by the car itself. But there are so many novices and newbies who would thank the car for doing that. As for the veteran seasoned off-roaders, they still have the choice of making the decisions themselves, choosing the right mode, driving ahead. Well, having a touchscreen is great. Having to push it one by one is tiresome. I wish I could just slide ahead when I want it. There's one more thing I don't like. You choose a menu. You choose something. Now, if I want to go back to the multiple choice menu, every time I have to go home and then do it. Well, they could have just given the multi-view, multi-choice on the left. Well, I might not like a couple of things about the screen, but the contents are amazing. It's like a lodestar for the off-road adventurer. The seats are really comfortable. It's electrically adjusted, and it uses a material which is, of course, more durable and perfect for an off-roading vehicle, which is going to get dirty anyway. So you need cleaning, which is why you have the synthetic material, all this rubber, and some hard plastic you may find here. There is a place for sunglasses, and there is a sunroof. That's another great thing about the Defender cabin. It's quite airy and bright. So it's not just the sunroof and these large windows here. There are some skylights as well on both sides, which was there already in the earlier Defender, through which light pours in. So let the elements come in. Well, this is nice. I like the way it's partitioned there, and you can keep an eye on the cargo if it's flying off. That cargo up there is 168 kilograms, and the towing capacity is 3,720 kilograms. It's huge, which is why the Defender has a feature by which you can control the trailer from here. The new Defender speaks a totally different language. To start with, it is not a body-on-frame anymore, it's a monocoque body. And it's still as sturdy as ever. In fact, this entire frame, all this is part of that monocoque structure. Well, coming to the design language, even though the Defender started off the Land Rover family, it stood quite aloof from the rest of the family in terms of styling, especially in the steering or the touchscreen. Of course, there was no touchscreen earlier, but right now, all this has come together to resemble the Land Rover family itself. So now it's a flag bearer of design for the family, because even if you look at the doors, or the touchscreen and the way it's segmented, and the steering styling, everything is closer to the Land Rover, Range Rover design. Why the favorite truck of farmers, tillers and military regiments now has a meridian music system to please you. Well, how new would the new Defender be if it isn't smartphone tested? So you have wireless charging here, neat, and plenty of USB ports, charging ports as well. You have one here, a couple behind, and a couple here, along with a nano SIM insertion point. Great. Well, the space behind this, it's empty for you to store anything you want. And it won't run away because there is rubber back there. But if you noticed, amidst all the modernness, the Defender has retained a lot of simplicity and practicality. If you look at it, I mean, it's not shoutingly luxurious. Look at these. These are rubber clad. You have these rigid structures on these wide console which you can hold on to if you're swaying along. Look at these gappy dashboards where you can stow whatever you want. So there is a lot of practicality, simplicity at the heart of the whole Defender concept still. Now, talking about that clever mix, the driver information panel is digital. I seriously think they could have left it analog. It would be nice. And then there are these capabilities that were unfamiliar to the earlier Defender but are very welcome changes in the new one, like driving. Now, the earlier Defender, the last one I drove, had 145 kilometers per hour as its top speed, but you wouldn't dare come anywhere close. But this one has a 200 plus kilometer per hour as its top speed, and you really wouldn't mind finding out how far would it go. Well, earlier, instead of the speedometer, I would rather the Defender did the climbing, but this time I really don't mind. As you can see, the world's simplest, crudest vehicle is going very systematic and scientific about it now. But on the other hand, legend has it that the Defender could be dismantled by just a screwdriver and put it together as well. The spirit continues in all the screws showing, but if you try that now, the driver could be screwed. Perils of modernity, but it could matter to those who believe that macho lies in how many muscles does it take to move a car rather than how much farther does the car move you. Where is the gear lever that saved me my gym membership? Well, you just have a very comfortable automatic gear shift now. So my test car is a P400. There is a P300 as well. Well, these are referring to the engine options. So you have a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 engine and a 3-liter turbocharged inline-6 engine. This is the one. The one I drove last was a turbo diesel, a 2.2-liter turbo diesel with a torque of 360 Newton meters. Now, both these engines are better at that. All variants are fitted with an 8-speed ZF transmission and a 2-speed transfer case. Across the range, air suspensions are standard. Well, I heard someone say that this Defender is so different they could have named it something else. I really don't agree, because the Defender is a concept in space, a void filled with only the timeless spirit of adventure and a goal to achieve, to get to a point which is farther than any attained so far, and the spirit of attaining it through simple practicality and the will to keep moving. So, 4 years apart, these two Defenders are a world apart. Yes, it is a modern day Defender, but there really can't be a modern Defender. It's only the original concept interpreted in a modern context.
This is nice.